Hi, my name is Dr. Lynn Deboeck, and I teach in theater, gender studies, and the Honors College here at the U. My most recent project is Mother Perspectives, Staging Motherhood in 21st Century North American Theater and Performance. My colleague Aisha Stratford, who teaches at Cornell University in New York, and I developed this project starting in 2018. Got a little derailed by the pandemic, but we're both very interested in research around maternity and gender roles and the performance thereof, hence my dual appointment in gender studies and theater. And so we really felt that it was important to shine a light on how motherhood is being represented. And we thought that the 21st century has already offered us so many different perspectives. So we took a different approach. They're not just academic articles or chapters in here. There's feminist manifestos, there's some interviews, there's some traditional scholarly material, but then there's also some artist work. We really wanted it to be accessible, and we opened up the call for papers to a variety of different people, academics, independent scholars, artists, and we received a lot of interest. And so we have students represented in here, we have senior scholars and senior faculty members, and it's a compilation that I think represents a larger breadth of maternal representation. Yeah. Some of this is on the stage, so we have staged actual plays that they pull from how mothers are being represented. Some of it is actually backstage, or what happens within the theater world, and how, for example, there's an interview with one of the co-founders of PAL, Parent Artists Advocacy League, because mothers in particular, but really parents in general, aren't really advocated for within the arts. The arts have specific practices in place that make it so that only those who are typically unattached, whether attached by a partner or spouse or having dependents, having people that they have to care for in any way, shape, or form, whether that's children, elderly family members, the arts are not made in a way that makes that easy or accessible for a lot of those people. And so there have been a lot of initiatives made to help sort of bring parents and particular mothers into the picture and help support them and give them access. So we have that, and we also have just the labor that is quite maternal in nature of making performance, of making people. There's a section of chapters on motherhood and nationhood, and the idea of how mothers essentially pass on this nationhood performance. There's a chapter on Dance Moms, the television show, and what that does to pass on sort of that nationhood. I don't know that it was a surprise, but I think the biggest takeaway was that the labor of putting it together was maternal in and of itself. My colleague and I, Aisha and I, both have been a part of the scholarly publishing world for a bit now, and it's not nurturing. It's typically quite harsh. And so we preferred to take on the academic generosity model of expanding the timeline and offering multiple different points of entry, and trying to look at it from a point of view of the people who are out in the world who might want to contribute but not be able to for whatever reason. We had a number of people who ended up having to pull out of the project, and that was very sad, but inevitable. But then there were people that we wanted a part of the project, and they just kept saying, we have too much on our plate. One of them that we did end up including was a conference panel with ASTR, the American Society for Theater Research, and it was on Black motherhood, and it was phenomenal. It was stupendous. I attended it. And I asked them if I could have their transcript and then credit them, and so we printed a portion of their transcript from that thing. And it's just a way of thinking in a different way that I would argue is very maternal, that you're operating with a variety of different individuals who all come at it, who all have different needs. I myself have 4 children, and they each come to me with different things, needing a whole level of different kinds of care. But to be included, and in particular, and that's my family unit, but to be included in this type of unit, we needed, as the editors or parents of this tome, we needed to be more flexible, and we needed to see where they were coming from more than pushing our own agenda forward, which is typically what the scholarly world is about.